Hello, hello. I wanted to share with you how I use simple sentiments like a big happy birthday script font stamp or a celebrate script font stamp. The stamp set is, you can find them everywhere. This one is actually a Tailored Expressions one. And this one is a Avery and Ella one. And they both work well. They look like they're from the same font family. They are not. But I wanted to share with you a fun, simple background. I call it like a wash bubble. That's a good way to put it. I don't know. But so what I'm going to do is my plan is to really just paint up here and then down here, and kind of leave that in the middle alone. So, and I like to use like two of the same color families. So you know me and my turquoise and my ultramarine, but we can also mix it up a little bit and do, let's do scarlet red and sandstone. I think those two would look really cool together. So here's scarlet red and here's sandstone. And I'm gonna start with sandstone. Ooh, look at that. I think this would make for a really fun boy birthday card. All right. And then we'll go down here and add. And so what I wanna do, it's gonna look like I love that sandstone color. Ooh, look at that. And so I do want it to blend one way, but I want most of the pigment, I want it to flow a little bit into the sentiment area, but I don't want it to like overpower the sentiment. So I'm gonna just use my brush, gently guide where I want the pigment to go or to run off. And right up there. Look at that sandstone. Man, that's gorgeous, isn't it? It has yellow and some greens to it. I don't know. It's just such a pretty color. Okay. I think that's going to look like a really fun birthday card for... All right. And now I'm going to do a little bit of the scarlet red. So once the pigment is on, I'll add some of the scarlet red right there. I added way too much water, so I'm going to drip it off. And I just ruined the sandstone color part of it, but I can always add more of that texture into it. There. Now I have it back. That's the wonderful thing about Brushos is you don't really ever ruin it. You just have to wash it off and go back at it again. Lightly tapping, tapping, tapping. And then I'm going to wait and see kind of where the red goes and what the red's doing. I don't really want to mess too much with it because I really like the, yeah. And now I can add my water. Look at that. Now my plan then is to just kind of let this naturally mingle together. So we're meeting like halfway in the middle of where the sentiment is. And we're just adding that atmospheric look to it. A very watercolory, very artistic, very much a beautiful trendy background, and I really like that, and I would call that almost done. I will let that dry. The only thing I might do is maybe down here just add that really pretty, sprinkle it iridescent mica powder there, and I'm calling that, maybe I might actually do a little bit over here and over here. Good composition says if you like something in one corner, try to repeat it in another corner. So that's what I tried to do with this and tapping. But look at that. You cannot control Brusho nor should you try, but look at that beautiful texture that you just created. Isn't that beautiful? Someone's gonna have a beautiful birthday card. When I'm making cards, I often like to think about the person that I'm making the card for. And my mother-in-law loves oranges and yellows. So while I was tapping Brusho onto the paper, I was thinking, I wonder if this is going to work well for my mother-in-law, and I think it is going to. So there's that one. Let's go with this one. This one already has some of the Brusho that's already on it, and I have a couple more to show you, so I figured why not make it a couple fun ways. But so this time and we can always just brush it off too if we don't like it. I don't mind it. I don't think there's anything wrong with just using a little bit of a dirty. So I did leave the celebrate part completely white. And it's pretty wet. You can see the sheen. You can see where the light like skips because I did not put water right here. You can see, right? Right, there you go. You can see that band of dry paper. That's what we want. Let's start with the iridescent powder because you guys I haven't really showed you how this works. And that way, then you can see kind of, there's the gold. And maybe we want to do one with just iridescent powders and a little bit of pigment. Let's try that and see what happens, huh? I'm all about playing. Yeah, that's really pretty. I mean, I don't know if I would use it with it by itself, but it is really pretty that way. Let's go with something warmer, like a warm color. Let's just do sandstone, since that's such a pretty color. And we did that with the other one. Like I said, I really like to find one edge and just make it really, really pop. And that's what I did with that. I think what I'm going to do, blow that off. But isn't that pretty just the way that is? Although I don't like the stark whiteness of it. I see a whole bunch of mica powder. So, and I don't really like this edge. I don't want this edge to be so sharp. So I'm taking my brush, a wet brush, and I'm just going with it, going along that edge. I would call it cleaning it up, but that's not really what I'm doing. And because I don't want it to look like I just cleaned up my edge, I splattered a little bit of water. And now I'm going to do the same thing for this right here. I'm going to let that kind of drip down a little bit. And again, I'm going to flick my brush a little bit. Because the last thing I want is for it to look like like I did this on purpose. I want it to look very much artistic, and there you go. I think this is perfect. I'm not going to touch it. Again, I've said this a million times. If there's one thing you can learn from my lesson or from my art, is that less is more when it comes to watercolor, Brusho in particular. Let the Brusho do its thing. It's beautiful the way it is. Look at how much texture there is. You don't want to mess with that, and you can't recreate it. You just have to go with it. And so that's what sandstone, gold, copper, and sandstone does. Now, isn't that gorgeous? That's going to look beautiful. Now, had I known that I was going to use those three colors, then I could experiment with different inks. Maybe I wanted a brown. Maybe I wanted a different sentiment, a more like a sympathy sentiment or something with just browns, and I see some yellows and some blues down here. You know, once you get to know all of your mediums, then you can really start to hone in on, oh, I want to do it this way or whatever. But I do like to celebrate with the orange. I think it adds a lot of character to it. So here's the two. Really simple stuff, right? Let's play one more time. Let's do something darker or a different hue. Let's do happy birthday. in a more of a bright, I'm thinking of like a bright teal and green, more for like a boy, like a little boy or something, I don't know. Any kind of boyish card I think would be fun. So again, there's my top, and then I'll brush that down. There's my bottom, brush that down. And now I'm gonna use, let's see, I'm gonna use lemon yellow. If you can, there's my lemon yellow. And I'm going to use my turquoise. And then maybe if I absolutely need it, I will go with my emerald green. And here's my emerald green. I'm really hoping I won't need the emerald green, but it's there if I need it. All right. So I'm going to tap, tap, tap on the yellow right there and yellow right here. There's that. And now I'm going to take my turquoise and I'm going to go over my yellow and over my, and I'm just dripping down that part. That's gonna look fun. Okay. And then because I don't want an edge, I'm just gonna let the Brushos do its thing, and now I'm gonna turn it around. And already I can tell that there's a lot of pigment right here, so I'm gonna go ahead and brush that off. And then I'm hoping, very hopeful, there, okay. That is looking really cool. I'm not quite done with it because I really like having more bright yellow. So instead, I'm gonna go into my sentiment a little bit with the yellow. Let's see if that doesn't brighten things up a little bit. And I can do that because it's my artwork and I can do what I want. And instead of spraying it, I'm actually just going to splatter it with my brush, since that's what I was doing before and it was giving me the results that I was looking for. Oh yeah, look at that. And the brush marks is giving that textured blue some really cool look. So we're going to go with that. Never underestimate the power of splatter. There. Oh, you guys, that's beautiful. I cannot wait to, when it's dried, it's going to look fantastic. Let's give a little bit yellow its due. Sometimes I really like lemon yellow, but I feel like it's not a bossy yellow like New Gamboge, and so you really have to use a lot of yellow, in my opinion. And again, I'm splattering a little bit more to get that yellow to come alive. There we go. I'm going to call this one done. Now, yes, I didn't quite do it the same way that I did with this, but with Brushos, it's very much an intuitive process, and you got to go with what works. And this is what worked for me. I was hoping that the blue would do its own thing, but I still love it. I still think it's going to look beautiful for a boy birthday card. So I'm going to let that dry. And I got one more to show you. I am going to clean up these edges though before I let it dry. I don't really want the edges to look bad. There. edges are clean, everything looks clean now, and there's still a sheen on it, so I could add some iridescent quality to it. Let's do pearl. I think with pearl you have to be kind of careful of where you're placing it, but it's gonna look really pretty. Cool. All right, now once it's dried, it will be a little bit lighter, which might really help. But yeah, there's that. Isn't that fun? Vibrant. It's very, very vibrant. All right, so in this lesson, I helped you play with your Brushos. We made the Celebrate, and if, like on camera, you can't really see, but there was a lot of glimmer in this and a lot of texture. I don't know if you can see the texture, but that is really fun. And then we have the Happy Birthday, which is also beautiful, very well done. And then we have the other boy Happy Birthday, where it's very much colorful and more childlike. So anyways, you can tell which one is almost dried. Thank you so much for watching. If you have questions on this technique, let me know. It does take some practice. It doesn't happen instantly. It's very much an intuitive practice, but you get the idea of how to play with your Brushos with a simple sentiment, and you can really make some beautiful cards with just a few supplies. So enjoy. I'll talk to you soon.